lovely stitchy friends. I'm Kat and I'm delighted you could stop by my channel, Catkin and Lily, where we talk all things cross stitch. It's the 17th of July and I'm here for FLOSSTUBE episode number 52. So you might expect a little catch up of everything that's been going on in the past 2 weeks since my last FLOSSTUBE, which you are going to get, but also something else. Yeah, it's going to be a slightly different episode than I had planned, but we'll get into that in a minute. First, I want to say a huge thank you to all my returning viewers for coming back to spend some more time with me. And of course, a huge welcome to any new viewers and potentially new subscribers. There have, again, been quite a few new subscribers since my last FLOSSTUBE, so it's absolutely fantastic to have you all here and, yeah, allowing me to share my absolute passion for cross stitch with you. So, why is this episode a bit of a weird one? Well, it's a bit of a weird one because I don't have a lot of this stuff that I would usually have that you might expect on a FLOSSTUBE. I have no finishes. I have no FFOs. Yes, my streak had to end sometime. I don't know how many FLOSSTUBEs it has been. I've had a finish and or an FFO for quite a lot of back-to-back episodes. No. Streak has finally ended. Nothing for you on that front today. But also no new starts. I've got no new stash. I am waiting on an order, but otherwise there's nothing. So yeah, nothing to see there. There is a little bit of plans and a little bit of AOB, but otherwise it's just the WIPs. And I've been trying to really focus over the last couple of weeks on particular WIPs I wanted to work on, which has still meant 7. I've still got 7 WIPs. And I realised, well, if I haven't got anything else to show you and, you know, I've only got the WIPs, then shall we do a WIP parade? Because I've got 7 of them to show you. I've only got another 7. Yeah, I just have 14 WIPs in total, which, I mean, is more than some people like to have, but it's also a lot less than others. So I thought, hey, let's go for a WIP parade. Now, it is very, very muggy here today. It's not as warm as it has been, but it is really muggy. And I've kind of closed all the doors and the windows for filming. So we may have to do this in 2 sections because I might overheat and my camera might overheat. So we will see. I'm going to start with the WIPs that I had brought. I'd already got ready to show you. I'd made that pile. So the ones that I've actively been working on over the last couple of weeks. So we'll look at those ones first and then we'll pull the ones that I either haven't worked on. Well, I haven't worked on any of those, but also ones that you haven't seen for quite a while. But yeah, anyway, I'm excited to share it all with you. So we will dive in with the WIPs, and the first one is actually one that you haven't seen for a bit, and I was very excited to get back out. And I will, for all of the WIPs, I will put an information panel. Try and make sure I'm sat over here so I can put my info panel on this side, so you'll be able to see all the project details, which I will do for even when we get into the WIP parade. I'll put the panels up for all of those projects, so it'll have all the details about the fabric that I'm using and all that good stuff. But then obviously for these WIPs that I've actively been working on, I will also put up there where it was the last time that you saw it. And I don't know when you last saw well, actually I do know when you last saw this one because I brought it out to show you last episode. So you saw it 2 weeks ago, but I hadn't worked on it at that point. It is, of course, Wonders of the James Webb Space Telescope. That was a stitch along, obviously long finished, by Climbing Goat Designs. In fact, I started this on the 20th of February 2024. So it's been a little bit. And as I say, my goal, I had a WIP Go goal to work on my oldest, and this is my oldest. So let's see where I've got to. Let's put that one here. And you'll see the hexagon at the bottom, if I can find the one, there. This is the one that I've been working on. So I just picked this up and stitch a little bit, a few strands at a time, because it's very dark. It's not very, very dark, but it's pretty dark. See if I can bring that in a bit more. Pretty dark fabric, and it's very, very tiny count. So yeah, which looks amazing. Everything looks really, really nice, dense stitches. It's actually a shame when you fill in the hexagons to kind of cover up the fabric, but there we go. So I think that's not quite half of that hexagon done, but that's been so nice to pull that one back out again and work on it. And yeah, I'm hoping, as I say, I had it as a WIP Go goal to pull it out and work on it. I didn't really set myself any more of a goal than to work on it. There was a loose goal of finishing a hexagon, which is actually pretty doable. But other than that, just to work on it and enjoy it, which I am doing. So the next one, and oh, I'm hugely enjoying this as well. I say that about all my WIPs because I do love them. I do love them. The next one is Gaia the Earth Goddess by Bella Filipina. And this one is just, yeah, it's really, I would say she's got her claws into me. That's kind of unfair, but just loving this one at the moment. So yeah, some pretty good progress. So let's see if I can show you, and you'll probably see all the progress. There's, I think it's pretty much, yeah, sort of hair and over this side that I've worked on. Just look at that. Absolutely beautiful. So I'll bring this top section in because this is where I've been working, all of this bit over here and on her hair. I think that's her hair actually finished now. I think that's her hair done, because the bit up here then goes into her headdress. There might be a few odd stitches in there, but not too much. And then there's loads more of headdress like this. There's a ton more of that up there to do. So yeah, it just looks incredible. Now I was working on this beautiful lady for a stitch with me. If you haven't already seen it, I was putting in some metallics. So I was doing some of the metallic in here, over here, and some of this orange and pinky metallics over here. So that was really, really fun to do. So I was sharing lots and lots of tips for working with metallics. So if you haven't already seen that stitch with me, then go and check that out. It was quite a long one, but I think I managed to pack in a few hints and tips along the way about using metallics. So if you've been put off stitching with them or have struggled with them, then hopefully it will help you out. And you can just stitch along with me, pull a piece out, stitch along with me and listen to me chatter about metallic threads. So I would definitely, I really want to keep pushing on that one because I feel like I'm getting really close to actually finishing the stitching. So yes, she's been a bit of a focus really as well. Next one is The Mermaid's Realm by Joan Elliott. Now I've gone back to this one being my kind of breakfast stitch. So just putting in a few threads in the morning. I haven't done it every morning, but most mornings, because it's such an easy one to pick up and just do a couple of threads, I can literally pull, because it's one colour, I can just put in a couple of strands and then, you know, move on with my day. So it's really lovely to do that with. And it's actually, I think, has resulted in some good progress. Again, it's mostly over this side, but there is a little tiny bit that I filled in. Yeah. A little tiny bit of dots here, but mostly over this side. So yeah, I'm really happy. I think that has actually added quite a good amount of progress on here. Just picking it up and doing those couple strands in the morning. I haven't done any more work on the actual, this big mermaid in the centre, but I love it. I love the little crabs with their antennae. They are so cute. And I still haven't gone back and finished the back stitch on the numbers. I should really do that one. But yeah, again, that's been lovely to put back in that sort of morning stitch slot. So yeah, perfect for that one. Now, the next one is the Stitchers Book Club Stitch Along by Clouds Factory. And again, this one's been a bit of a focus for me because I've been really wanting to try and catch up. I've been playing catch up since it started, because I think the stitch along started in January and I started sometime in February. When did I start? 9th of February. So I was already behind when I started, and I've been slowly kind of inching towards catching up. So again, I've been really pushing this one and focusing on it. So the picture up is 7 parts part 7 had just come out the last time I showed you. We did have that one, the Wrendale part, and I have not quite got to that, but I'm super close. I'm super close. So I've been working down on this side here. So here's where we're up to. Look at that. So it's this section down here, the Shakespeare section, and it is almost all done apart from just the top of one bookcase. Oh, and poor Shakespeare's got no feet. I do need to give him some feet. So that is very, very close to finishing that section. And we're only about halfway through, just over halfway through July, which means I think I can get a really good start on part 7 and get as caught up as I can. I don't know if I finish it by the end of July. I could, if I keep focusing on it. I could be caught up by the August part, but if not, I'll be very close, I think. Now, the only other bit I do need to sort is that because of the fabric I've used, there's a spider web up here, and you pretty much can't really see it because it's in white thread. So I do just need to, I could do it in 2 strands. I still don't think it's going to show. So I think I'm just going to switch it for grey. I think that'd be fine. So I do need to sort that out as well, and actually put in the little spider. So I guess there's a couple tiny extra bits I need to do on that one as well. But yes, that's been another focus, and absolutely over the moon with that. Next up is the biggie, is Dragon Race Into the Night, which is artwork by Rose Catherine Kahn and charted by Pain Free Crafts. And this is the one that I struggle slightly to hold this one up. In fact, actually, I might put my board this way round. Yeah, just watch me have wrangling issues as usual. I've now got a needle sticking up at the top, which is very, very bad news. Let me pull that one over here. Goodness me. Right, we'll do our best with this one. I need a better way to do these ones. It's enormous. Well, you can see here where we're heading, and as I bring it up, you'll see I've worked. It's this section here, and I've kind of worked a big swathe across here. So let's put it up there so that you can see the progress compared to last time. Look at that. Oh yes. Absolutely brilliant. I love this. Love it so much. Just the way that tree, especially if I hold it back as well, the way that tree is just coming out now is just, it's so stunning, so stunning. Now this one's not a focus piece. It just gets stitched on Wednesday, which means that I tend to just work on this one on a Wednesday, and sort of focus on it on a Wednesday, but it doesn't really get any other days. But that does mean I can usually get maybe around 750 stitches in that day. So I'm doing other things as well. I'm not just sitting and stitching all day. So that does mean that since you last saw it, that's 1,500 stitches put into it, which is what you can see. It's pretty good progress. And even better, I actually hit 3%. That is 3% now on that one. So woohoo! That is, I've got the stitch count as well. I don't always remember to bring them, but it is 16,311 stitches. So many stitches for 3%. I mean, it's ridiculous. In fact, it is, to be fair, it is 3.04%. And let's not forget the 0.04, because even every 0.01% is just over 50 stitches. So that extra 0.04% might seem tiny, and it kind of is, but it's still 200 odd stitches. So yeah, you have to remember that this percentage increments so slowly, but the progress is amazing, so I don't really care about the percent. I mean, yeah, it'd be lovely if I had more, but I'm just enjoying the progress on that one. So absolutely brilliant. And of course, I love the next one I have for you as well, which is The Fisher King by Long Dog Samplers. So my very first Long Dog sampler. It won't be my last. I'm not itching to jump in on another one just yet, just because I still haven't got super far on this one yet. In fact, I don't know my percentage on this one. The Dragon Race and the Fisher King are the only two that I have in Pattern Keeper to know how many stitches I've done and percentages and what have you. I don't know where I'm at on this one, but I'm stitching this one for Andrew the Runner Stitcher's Whip into Shape challenge for his marathon training. And that means that I've been, basically this one I've been working on a Sunday. So I've been saving up all the allotted stitches for the week that need doing, which is now up to somewhere over 400 odd stitches a week. And which is still not many. I mean, if you think I can sit and stitch on Dragon Race and for the day and do, 700 or 800 stitches, actually limiting myself to 400 odd stitches for the week on this one, that's actually doable pretty quickly. Because it's one colour, 400 stitches, I could potentially get it done in a couple of hours. So yeah, I could be stitching more on this one, definitely could. But anyway, enough waffle. Here's where we're at. And yeah, lots of good stuff to see. We've got some down here and some up over this way. Again, another one I'm very, very excited for. I love seeing all of this coming out. I love the boat and the arch, this sort of arch coming down under here. It's not an arch, it's an upside down arch. And then down here, I don't know if you can, how well you'll be able to see, but we have half a squirrel. There is a squirrel there. I really wanted to get to the squirrel the last time I picked this up. But so far it's just his tail, and just where this bit pokes in here, that's his head. So yes, he's a little indistinct at the moment, shall we say. But next time I pick this one up, I'm going to do the bottom half of that squirrel. So he will be coming out properly to play. So yes, very excited for that one. And actually my last WIP is Stitching Rules by Primrose Cottage Stitches. Last active WIP, I should say. Or last, not even active, last active WIP that I've worked on in the last 2 weeks. Fair enough. Right, we have got, now this one is the one that I'm working on with my lovely stitchy friends in my Patreon membership. We're doing an Anything Stitchy Sal, so quite a few of us are stitching this pattern and several others are stitching other beautiful stitchy themed patterns. So I wonder I haven't caved and bought any of the other ones that I'm seeing being stitched as well, but for now I'm sticking to this one. And I broke this pattern into 7 sections because there are 7 rules on it, so very easy to break into 7 sections, and we're doing one part every 4 weeks. So I've done my part 1. And here it is. So I'm very, very happy with that. Oh, it's done bar the back stitch. There is back stitch on here. But I absolutely love this. I've got a bit of a mix of colours going on in here. I've got some DMC and I've got some fancy flosses that are a tiny bit variegated. So just the green, the pink and the blue and the yellow, those 4 colours, I'll bring it back in for you, so same as this one. These are the green and the pink in here, very, very slightly variegated. And then this blue this is a solid, that one's solid. And I think that's, and then the white. So you'll see there is a very, very subtle variation. You can see on the wording, I think there's a tiny little bit. Sometimes it's pretty minimal, but it's nice enough just to give a little bit of extra dimension. And this is where there is some, well, it's actually long stitch to go on those bobbins, which is the reason I haven't done it, because I think I want to do them as long stitches and I don't want to be catching those while I'm stitching the rest of it. So I'm actually going to leave that right to the end. Watch me forget to go back and do it, but this could be tempting fate. But I'm going to leave that until the end. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving that. Really enjoying the colour choices. Yeah, super gorgeous. And as I say, that was the first of 7 parts done, and we're not doing the next part until the 31st of July. So that one will be, there's nothing to do on that one for a bit. So this is where I say I have been really trying to focus on doing the things that I either really needed or wanted to do. So finishing that stitching rules, trying to get caught up with the Stitchers book club, working on things for the WIP Go goals, although, yeah, one of those I have not actually touched yet. So I guess I've done quite well with some goals, a little hazy on some others. But that's the 7 WIPs that I've touched over the last couple of weeks, which means we can move on into the WIP parade part of this. Well, it's all a WIP parade, isn't it? But this is the things now that I haven't worked on for the last couple of weeks, or for a very long time. So we will crack on. If again, I say I'm getting a little toasty here, but the camera seems to be not overheating just yet, so we'll keep whipping through the WIPs. And these ones now are in order of when I started them. So I said that the Wonders of the James Webb Space Telescope was my oldest, from February 2024. So all of the other ones are started more recently than that, but some of them still, yeah, fairly close. So this next one, this is The Sorceress by Joan Elliott. And yes, this one is, if you watched last episode, this is my WIP Go goal that I haven't actually touched yet, so I do need to. And I'll show you, this is how I've got her at the moment. She is actually rolled up around a cardboard tube because I have already given her a bit of a press. It's hand-dyed fabric, so I've not washed it. But I have pressed her upside down, ready to do the beading. And that's my WIP Go goal, is because the WIP Go goal was closest to a finish, and she is my closest to a finish, I think. So she is ready for beading, and my aim was to do 2 days of beading on her, and I have not done either of those days yet. I'm teeing up, I was going to say this weekend, to do those, although obviously the Fisher King is on Sundays, so I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, here she is. So as I say, she is all finished with all the stitching, all the back stitching. You saw her not that long ago. Let's give you a good look at the beauteousness of this one. Absolutely lovely. Really gorgeous. I guess I kind of also thought maybe if I get her out today and just look at her, maybe that will inspire me to get on with that beading. I haven't really looked at it to know if it's like tons and tons of beading or not so much. I think it might be on the, maybe not tons and tons, I think it's quite a lot though. But yeah, well, now I've got her out and looked at her. Now I need to try and, I'm just going to sort of, I don't want her to get crushed. I'm going to try and lay her across, there we go. Lay her gently because on the sofa, because I do not want her getting all scrumpled up. But yeah, so she wasn't, it's not that long since you've seen her, but would like to get on with that beading. Now, by contrast, the next one I have for you, you have not seen for a long time. And again, this one's a bit dangerous showing you because I kind of feel like if I do, I'm going to want to get back to stitching her. But which hopefully I can soon, because this is another fancy lady. This is Julia the Firefly Princess. So another Bella Filipina design. Fell in love with this one, pinky purple. The fabric, now I've got to back out, this fabric is absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. And so here was my start on her, which, yeah, it's a little bit of an odd, it feels like a bit of a bitty start, but the colours are so pretty. So pretty, especially up here, starting on that dress, just absolutely gorgeous. Again, the shading on these designs is is incredible. So the reason she hasn't been touched for a long time. Did I say when I started this one? I started on the 31st of May 2024. Now the reason she kind of went away was because I was working on other fancy ladies. I think I started several, particularly in May. I started a couple. I started Gaia at the beginning of May, and then I started Julia at the end of May. And it was probably a bit much, really. So I decided that I really needed to just at least park one of them while I worked on some of the others. So poor Julia, unfortunately, since she was the last one to be started, she got sort of sidelined, and has been while I really focus on the other ones. Now, with beading potentially to finish on the Sorceress, and, well, even before that, the Winter's Gift, because I had these all at the same time. The Winter's Gift was at the same time, and that one is finished. The Sorceress, it needs the beading. Gaia is getting close to finishing stitching, so I feel like I'm getting close to the point where I could pick Julia back up again. Not quite, but yeah, that will be a lot of fun when I get to that. Now the next one that I have is the Wrendale Otter from the World of Cross Stitching magazine. So I started this in September 2024. So we're now less than a year ago. Oh, in fact, I'm just going to take those clips off there as well. And I think I worked on this one for a little bit, and then it fairly quickly ended up on timeout. It wasn't naughty, just ended up losing out to needing to have less active whips. So this is where I got to on this one. So not much otter. Well, precisely 0 otter so far. But some very pretty pinkness of the lilies. Really lovely. This is all of this down here is like those half stitches. So that goes pretty quickly. So that one's definitely on my list to pull back out again fairly soon. It's a bit daft really, because you'll see that I've got a couple of other bothy ones that I started after that one, and I maybe should have gone back and finished that one before I started any others, but I won't should on myself. I will get back to it. It is a lovely design. And again, it's not huge. So, yeah. Next one. This one is a little bit of a silly one as well, actually. This is the Winter Woodland Star Pillow by Hello from Liz Matthews, which was a Jingle Ball 2024 exclusive. So, I've got a couple of threads hanging out on here. And it's actually quite a bit of that done. And then it sort of dropped off. I think it stopped being like December and Christmas, and I just kind of, yeah, haven't quite finished it. So I think that one probably will languish until I get closer to Christmas this year, and then I'll try and pop back and finish that one. So that would actually be quite an easy one. In fact, that one maybe should have been my closest to a finish, but yeah, I didn't even really think about that. That could have been my close to a finish and would have ticked Christmas in July. That would have been quite smart, but I wasn't that clever. Never mind. Now, my camera is overheating slightly, so I am going to pause really briefly. We've still got three more whips to go. Only 3. It's not that many, is it? But I will pause briefly. And I might as well tidy what I've shown already, and then I'll come back to you when my camera has cooled down, because otherwise it's just going to suddenly stop on me. So I will be back with you momentarily. Okay, I'm back. Let's get into those last 3 whips. And these ones actually are these are more recent, and they're ones that you've seen more recently as well. And this is my bothy threads section. So the first is In A Chameleon by Bothy Threads. And here is where we are on this one. Love the bright colours, love the cute chameleon. I do like chameleons, so yeah. As I say, it was a bit of an impulse start for my birthday this year in May, when I had the long dog planned to start for my birthday, hadn't got sorted for that, still doing fabric deliberations. I started this guy instead because I wanted a birthday start. So this is where I said I could have gone back and worked on the otter that I've got, but I wanted a new start, and this chameleon was also calling to me. So he kind of snuck in as a start in May, but obviously hasn't been a huge focus. I've worked on it a bit, but yeah, definitely not a focus piece. Hence why you haven't seen it in the last couple of weeks. And then the next one, I say another Bothy Threads, which is Love and Light. This one was also a bit of an impromptu start. I'm learning this is probably not a good idea, really, the impromptu new starts. Well, sometimes it is. This one I wanted to start to sort of celebrate the fact that I was moving from my job at the hospital for a couple of days to being full-time employed myself, doing all my cross-stitch stuff. So this was my new start to celebrate that, and yeah, as you can see, it didn't get very far. I think I needed to take this one and the chameleon kind of off my plate, at least for the last couple of weeks, just to, as I say, to focus on that, because my focusing was still 7 WIPs that I was touching, and I just didn't want to cram any more in. So for this last couple of weeks, chameleon went by the wayside. This one went by the wayside, deliberately taken off my plate so that I didn't have to try and sort of juggle those with everything else. And this last one, which actually I'm pretty sad about this one. But again, I needed it. I needed to just have a few less active WIPs, because otherwise I'd have just put in a few stitches on each one, and it wouldn't feel satisfying. So much as I would have loved to touch all of these, this last one, I haven't told you what it is. This is Seaside Tiny Town by Heart in Hand, and I started this one in the 28th of June. So I only started this a few weeks ago, and this is where I'd got to on it. And it's super cute, super cute. Absolutely love the little houses, love the little crab. Can you see? Yeah, look at that. Ah, it's lovely. Really enjoying that one, but as I say, just haven't touched it in the last couple of weeks. That's my most recent start, and I will be excited to get back to it. But yeah, it's been nice. It was the right decision for the last couple of weeks to just put some of those ones aside. And as I say, I'm down to 14 WIPs, which is actually pretty good. Pretty happy with that. And that is all of them. So I hope you enjoyed my WIP parade. Completely unintended, but as I say, we just kind of fell into it. And I think we've zipped through that at a fair pace. So let me know which of those you are enjoying the most. Are there any of those ones that you haven't seen for a while that you really want to see back again? Yeah, I'd love to know what you're loving the most, because I just love them all. So with that, let me move into, I'm going to put my extra notes here. There you go. Chuck my notes up there so I can remember if there's anything else I need to let you know. Well, obviously not much, because as I say, no new starts, although I will say on that front, there is something has caught my eye just recently. I'm not going to get into it. You guys are going to have to wait for a couple of weeks to see if I cave. But yeah, I did see something. Patreon Stitchy friends, I will tell you on Tuesday. So yeah, stay tuned for that. If you're in my Patreon membership, I will spill the beans on Tuesday. If some of you haven't already guessed what it might be, the rest of you, you're going to have to wait a couple of weeks. As I say, new stash, nothing on, there is some stashing coming, but it has not arrived yet. So plans for the next 2 weeks. Well, as I say, I'm really just going to keep with this idea of focusing on the things I particularly want to achieve goals for. So that's going to be a lot of the same that you've seen over the last couple of weeks. James Webb Space Telescope, try and push on and finish the hexagon. The Sorceress beading, that needs to happen in the next couple of weeks for my WIP Go goal. So that one, yeah, definitely need to focus on that. And probably Stitcher's book club. That's definitely a focus for me. And then just continue with for example, the long dog on Sundays, Dragon Mace on Wednesdays, Mermaids in the morning. So yeah, probably much of the same for the next couple of weeks. Still don't really have any planned new starts. Still got a hankering for Christmas in July, but I don't know if I try and shoehorn that in, then the other things I want to focus on, again, might go by the wayside. So, hey, look at me being momentarily sensible. It probably won't last, so yeah. And that brings us to any other business, or perhaps I should say any other Bees-Ness, because I did just briefly want to mention the bee designs that I've been working on. I have mentioned them previously. My Patreon Stitchy friends had a bit of a sneak peek, quite a big sneak peek. So I thought I would bring a little sneak peek for you guys as well. So there will be 3 bee designs. They're basically all designed. One of them is pretty much test stitched. I'm going to show you a little bit. I'm going to show you the top section. I'm not showing you the whole thing yet. I'll show you the top section and I'll show you the little bit that I'm working on a little bit of the second one that I'm working on. So, you know me, I'm sorry, I'm a terrible tease. Here you go, I'll show you. This is the top section of the first design. So you can see my cute little bee there and a little bit of a flower. And you can see I've sorted out my border that I wanted on this one and the wording. So, yeah. It's pretty cute, colourful. It's perhaps what you would expect from me if you've seen any of my other designs. And I will give you a little peek. Again, I'll do a little bit of it. You can see my kind of unformed bee. I'll show you a little bit. Let's do a little bit here of the second one that I'm stitching. Here's the second one that I'm working on at the moment. So we've got some little bits of flowers emerging, and as I say, a little bit of a bee blob. So that's the second one. And as soon as I finish stitching that one, I'm going to crack on stitching the third one. So they're pretty much all designed. So it is just a case of getting the stitching done, getting all the patterns finished, formatted, getting everything absolutely top notch, and then I'll be able to release those. Now, as I say, because there are 3 of them, that very first one, the Be Grateful one, that one will be an exclusive for my Patreon members. It will be free. And the other 2 will be released. You'll be able to buy them individually or as a pair. Yay! I'm loving these little bees. It's very summery. The colours, the bees, flowers, yeah, it's just screams summer to me. I'm having a blast stitching these. I hope you guys are going to enjoy them as well. So watch this space for more on that. And that's it. That brings us to the end of my cross-stitch updates. So thank you very much for joining me. It's been fantastic to have you here for my impromptu WIP parade. I hope you've enjoyed seeing all of that. I hope you've maybe got some of your own stitching done at the same time. I will be back in 2 weeks, as you might expect, with another FLOSSTUBE episode. In between then, there will be, well, something else, some more videos in the form of stitchy snippets, tutorials, all that good stuff. So if you don't want to miss a single stitch, then please do subscribe to the channel. And if you are looking for even more stitchy fun with me, but perhaps even more importantly, with a fabulous community of stitchy friends, then I'd love you to come on over and join my Patreon membership. I look forward to seeing you again soon. So until then, happy stitching and bye for now.